Hey, good evening everyone. My name is Alejandro Franco, and tonight I'm going to talk about one of the most important aspects about design the materials to teach students. Maybe in this subject, material design for face-to-face environments. Okay, right now we are going to look into for designing teaching material. But first of all, we have to answer or take into account this question about what type of materials should be included in English language teaching. As you know, it is important that in the classroom everyone have different intelligence and learning styles, so that student teacher have to handle with that issues in the classroom. So we have some tips. Maybe the materials have take into account, or the teachers has to take into account this kind of audiovisual. If the students have this kind of intelligence or learning styles, so if the teacher have to pay attention about that kind of skill, and the material address those movies or about cartoons, serial drama, as for an interview. Also, if some students have this ability to write and reading as well, so you have to pay attention on the paper and the materials you focus on the picture, posters, photograph, calendar, cue cards, students writing for error corrections, newspaper and magazine evidences, reading tests, and so forth. So that's kind of materials should be included in English language teaching. What about those students who show, or maybe the kind of students who show up in the classroom and all the time is talking and running or walking around the classroom? So we have the reality. So teacher have to focus that kind of materials about maybe role plays, or maybe you have the restaurant menu, and you ask those students to make a brochure or air ticket, wedding card, coffee maker. So those activities that the student have to manage or engage with those reality environments. And the next one is about the audio. Students have this kind of ability to, it is good in the listening skills. So we have to create or ask students to prepare that kind of news, interviews, yes, weather forecasts, and various of short dialogues, covering language functions and actions, and so forth. Well, the next step is about explaining principles about those materials for language teaching. What is that relevant to develop in the students or acquire the language, or if you as a future teacher have to want to learn to teach to the students in a proper way. So first of all, we have to pay attention about those materials that is useful to achieve impact and on learners. Yes, these materials have to have several activities, or maybe these materials have to beautiful pictures or a lot of something like that. And the second one is about materials should help learners to feel at ease. Maybe some materials are not feel students easy, maybe because they're full of filling the gaps, or maybe there are a lot of problems, or maybe there are a lot of assess the students. So that kind of materials maybe stress the student. The next one is about materials. It should help learners to develop confidence. Otherwise, of the last aspect, this kind of material have to develop confidence in the student, that the student feel confidence when he's doing or making that kind of materials, or solve that kind of materials. The next one about it should require and facilitate learn self-investment. Also, materials should provide the learners with opportunities to use the target language to actually communicate purposes. Well, also that is the goal in the classroom, that the teacher address the students to use the target language. Thanks to those materials, that pay attention or facilitate to learners to use the target language. Maybe in the beginning it is difficult to use that in the classroom, but if the teacher use it in a few times in the classroom, maybe using warming up activities about the use of the target language, and so maybe it worked it, and maybe it works. The next one about materials should take into account that learners differ in learning styles, as I can tell you before. Everyone have different intelligence, as regards Gardner talk about multiple intelligence. So maybe she has the ability to listen that maybe her partner doesn't. So I think that everyone have different times to learn. Maybe this girl have an easy and a fast way to learn, and she maybe looks like intelligent than others, but it is an issue in the classroom, because all the children are intelligent, but maybe he is slow down to learn. Yes, but he has the ability that she doesn't have. The next one is about materials should permit a silent period. I think that is mandatory in the classroom. Every lesson of a topic that you have to teach in the classroom, you have to give learners a silent period to understand, to acquire, to internalize the topic that you have, that you want to teach. And the last one is about materials should maximize learning potential by encouraging intellectual, aesthetic, and emotional involvement, which stimulates both right and left brain activities. Well, that's it. I think that's all. It's important that we use, as a future teacher, take into account those principles and main principles. Okay, thank you for watching.